In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to this episode of Marketing in the Age of AI. Today we are going to start tackling the idea and concept of vibe coding and how we can leverage tools like Bolt and Vercel and Replit and Base 44 and Cursor to solve immediate problems or challenges inside of our own business and maybe even create a product that other people could find value in using. And to have this conversation with me today, I got Thad Barnes, who's a repeat guest on the show, and Thad is the founder of Epoch Media, bringing a unique blend of technical expertise and psychological insights into the world of marketing.
Thanks, Emanuel. Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Yeah, you bet. I appreciate you taking some time to dig into this and talk about how you're finding challenges inside the business, how you're using these rapid programming tools to solve them, and then what happens after you get them developed. So.
Yeah. Well, I think like a lot of us, the idea started by a recommendation of somebody else. Have you checked this out? Have you checked that out? And then it just evolved into how can I solve this particular problem? Like even in my personal life, one of the things that we always ask is what's for dinner, right? We love to cook, but it's like coming up with recipes all the time. Is it fish tonight? Is it beef? Is whatever. And so the first thing I ever did was coded just a really quick app that could pull some inspiration from some famous chefs or some cookbooks that I liked, and then give me a recipe every day that I could easily follow. Yeah. And so I think that AI in this regard, in the vibe coding world, has made it easy for us to use or create apps for personal use like that. Just real basic, not a lot of security concerns there. I'm not selling it to the public, those kinds of things. So I find it really fascinating from that standpoint.
And like for the recipe idea, how do you send it out into the world to go and get new ideas for you? What's that process like?
Yes. Well, that was actually kind of a lengthy process. Really, actually creating the app, since it was the first one, it took me quite a while to kind of understand how to prompt. I've been using Lovable, and to understand how to prompt it, what to tell it, what not to tell it, those kinds of things. But once I did, and I talked to people about what I was doing, they certainly wanted to check that out too. I think it's a problem that people have.
Sure.
And so how I put it out into the world is I went and bought a URL. I paid for a Supabase license, those kinds of things. And then I just let people log into it. And what I quickly learned was that they wanted a whole lot more than I was really looking to do with it. They wanted wine recommendations with it. They wanted a way to store the recipes and recall them, and then have the AI recall the recipes so there was not so much repetition in their meal planning. And it was like, this is becoming like a full-time job for something I just wanted to tell me what's for dinner every night.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So we have these platforms, a vibe coding platform, and I might as well pull one up so we can just look at it. And what we should create a little app here while we're on the show. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. So first thing is I go to my Lovable account and I'm all logged in. Let's see, got that on the screen. And then I say like, maybe we'll say, I want to create a golf course recommender.
This is right up our alley.
for people traveling. And so now I've just got this really high level concept. What else would you put into something like this?
Well, it depends on what it really depends on what I'm developing for. So if I have the idea that I want this to be an enterprise app, I'm going to tell it that. Keep in mind this will be an enterprise level app. We need secure login. I've found that you want to give it enough, but not too much.
This will be for friends and family.
Friends and family, yep.
And will be a digital gift I can give.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right. So then there you can see the Lovable is working in the background. And just tell me a little bit about what the inventory of solutions that you've written for yourself so far.
Yeah, so the meal planning app is one, and then another one that I worked on was a competitor, essentially, to some of the mailbox management tools that we see out there. I was tired of the $30-$50 a month charges, and I thought I could probably write this with Lovable.
Yeah.
So I essentially created a fixer clone
I got you.
that's just for me, and it works pretty well. I would say that because I haven't had an actual developer look at it and harden it right, and really, I certainly would not release this for anybody else to use. It's pretty specific to me in particular, and
Right.
to my company. But that one, and then most recently, I've gotten tired. And all these things revolve around paying monthly subscription fees, right?
Right.
I have a vast notebook in Evernote of recipes that
Yeah.
I've collected over 15 years probably. And I got tired of paying that, monthly nut, or I think they even offered me like $70 a year. And I thought, why am I paying this? And so I went into Lovable and said, I want to create a notebook app where I can import all of my notes and notebooks from Evernote and then display them on my dashboard. And then I want the ability to add more. And then I also, because this solves a problem for someone else in my life, which happens to be my dad, he likes to print out recipes.
Okay.
He wants the paper in the kitchen. So I said, I also want the ability to take a note, turn it into a PDF, and print it out.
Nice.
And so that, because this was my third iteration of using Lovable, that only took me about an hour to create from start to finish. The longest time was waiting for the API from Evernote. You have to apply. So.
Oh, right. Yeah. The API. That makes sense. So then the email program that you set up, how did you set up the permissions for it to get into your email box and make all those processes?
Yeah, that was a significant time investment, not as much as the meal planning because I had already understood a little bit, but getting the application process through Google to use their API and then get the proper OAuth set up where it would actually be able to not only log into my email account, but create labels, remove labels, move email content, create drafts. That part was a little bit more in depth. And I had to teach Lovable about the API documentation that Google has put out. That was the biggest thing for me, was having it have a repository that it could read from and reference on a occasional updated basis.
I gotcha. And then what have you found about? Well, see, there we go. Look at that. Lovable.
Look at that. We already have a golf course app.
Has already got our golf app going. So now let's see, if we were gonna make this for our if we were gonna add some features to it, all we have to do here is go into this chat window and say, please add a hotel recommendation for each golf course. Golf course. So that'd be one. And then let's say, please rank the golf courses by difficulty.
I like that. And maybe price might be a consideration.
Oh, yeah.
People.
By price, difficulty, and proximity to luxury shopping.
There you go.
Oops, almost got it. And so now we've got all these updates queued up.
Yeah. I love that.
So, so talk to me a little bit about how your what the prompting is for these kind of tools that you found.
It's evolved, especially in the last 30 days. But it started out where I learned that I really needed to tell Lovable in particular what not to do. One of the problems I ran into is that it makes a lot of assumptions. So you might have this dashboard and it looks really great. And then you want to add this feature. And all you want to do is add this feature, but it will change your entire dashboard. It will change like the entire profile section of the user or something like that and create all these different cards and change the way the card. And I didn't ask it to do that. I just said, add a prompt where they could change their password. And all of a sudden it changes the whole thing. And so I've found that to be less the case in the last 30 days. It doesn't do that quite as much.
Okay.
But I think one of the things that I would say about prompting is be very specific and be task oriented in terms of one task at a time. If you give it, you can queue up like we're doing here. But if you have a long prompt where you are saying, create this and do this and do this and do this, it gets lost.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And it's kind of like just talking to any of the LLMs, right? That you want to break these down into subtasks and have it complete one thing before you're getting it onto the next thing.
I think it's also important to remember which LLM you're using, right? And so Lovable uses Claude. Claude does not have very good context-aware capabilities. So it doesn't remember your entire conversation. You have to remind it. And there is a feature in Lovable where you can give it some very base descriptions and recommendations and requirements and things that the app must do in the setup tab. But beyond that, it doesn't really remember a whole lot of your conversation further back. Whereas things like Gemini has this infinite, seemingly, I mean, it's this massive contextual database of you. And ChatGPT is getting there too. But it's important to understand the level of context you need to give any given LLM.
Yeah, that's cool. So if somebody is listening who hasn't dug into a tool like Lovable yet, what are some of the recommendations you'd make for kind of an initial project or two?
Yeah, I would say look for a problem that you're looking to solve in your own life first, like I did. I think that, well, the adage is, right, build a product, then find the market for it. That's probably not the way you want to go.
Right.
Find a problem, solve a problem, and then the people that need to solve that problem will find you. So, and then I think to start with Lovable in particular, just talk to it, just like we're doing right here. This is what I want it to do. And you're going to come up with a proof of concept, which, we haven't connected any APIs. We haven't connected any public golf course information, anything like that. But we have a really solid actual, you could imagine this being on any golf finding website in the world right now.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way it looks and feels and very, very quick. And then I would say be aware when you're talking to it, like we have, is that it will use filler data. So you might think by looking at this, oh, great, look at it, just found a golf course in Oceanside. It's right there. I can click on it. It's probably going to tell me hotels. It's just filler data, right? So there is a deeper dive that we're going to have to do. So be aware of that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, it's iterative, and that's how I see these things. So we'll build this, we'll test it, see what happens, and then you've got to ask it to use Yelp or Golf Now as the data source, or Google Maps, right? And create some more direction for it. I think what's amazing though is that we'll be able to, and I don't know how long it'll take. We probably don't have enough time today, but we could say, make this printable like you did with your recipes, right? And then it'll create a PDF for you that you can download and email. So there's a lot of functionality that you can create in a short amount of time, and with a relatively small investment. Like, what are you paying Supabase right now?
Like $45 a month.
Yeah, right. Well, so you could build these things out and have kind of a digital warehouse of customized solutions that you've got tuned exactly how you want it to be.
Mhm.
So I think that's the coolest thing about this. So
And
let's
and
just
I,
test this
I
one real quick, and let's
yeah,
just
yeah.
see if we got something in Bandon.
Oh, I love Bandon. I've only played there once, but I had an amazing time.
Yeah, it's not all connected up, but let's
Yeah.
see. Like you were mentioning, um, that's interesting. And they built this landing page, and it it feels like you could maybe if we publish it, something else will happen. Go ahead. I'm sorry I cut you off there. Dad.
Oh, I was just going to say one of the cool things about this is that if you bring that back full screen, so the inclination might be to talk to it and tell it, I want you to change. You got to click that little X on that you just shipped box. There you go. So the inclination might be to continue to talk to it like it's a human.
Yeah.
Hey, change the words discover perfect course to find your future fairway, right? You might want to just talk to it in chat like that. But really, one of the best things you can do, the easiest way to save credits, is in that bottom left, right underneath the word Ask Lovable, it says edit.
Yep.
And if you click that, now you can click on the right side there in any area.
Isn't that awesome?
Click there and tell it, I just want you to change this part. So that's one of the things that's come along in the last month and a half, where you don't have to talk to it and it starts to make assumptions. You can tell it exactly where I want you to change this thing.
Yeah. So then you really have the ability to create a draft web page or a draft landing page or draft assets for a client and make real-time edits to those concepts on a phone call, for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think you could get close to launching something from this, that consumers could actually consume. But I think you're going to need a lot of, we talked about this off air, but a lot of hardening, a lot of security concerns related to this kind of data being out there. And even if it's not customer sensitive data, but it's proprietary IP for you. And
Yep.
so, for example, what I've found with Lovable is that it likes to store a lot of logs in browser console. That is exposed to every end user and anyone can see it. So you
Right.
have to be very conscious that that's there and either make a conscious decision to tell Lovable to take that out or go another route completely.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's how I've found this to be in phases, right? There's like these little tweaks and little things like this golf fairways found for you tool that would just be for fun. Then there's doing some stuff like you're talking about where there's some utility to it. And then there's actually saying, well, this has some market potential. And so I am going to actually run this through the protocols to make sure that I can, if I'm not charging for it, I still want it to be secure at the level it needs to be secure so that people can use it and get value from it. And then ultimately, maybe there's something that I created that would have some utility for making income also.
Yeah.
But
Let me ask you this, if you were going to take something from Lovable and you wanted to make it enterprise level and put it out to the world and possibly charge for it, what would be your next steps for doing that?
so for me, at my level of coding, I would hire somebody to do that. I would just say,
Mhm.
hey, here I have X amount of money. I want to make this. And that's where I am with a number of projects, actually. I have a data visualization tool. I have a do-it-yourself strategic planning tool. And then I have another tool that I created that is a personal information identifying tool so that you can share information you can work with the LLMs, but not share proprietary information.
Mhm.
So on those projects, that's where I have created partnerships to do the coding side and run that through all the processes that it needs to, because it's not my skill.
Do you think that we're very far away from having the ability for AI to actually complete it through, hardening and release?
I think I would say 12 months. If I probably should do this. I probably should hire somebody to work with me to write the prompting that would take in order to have a standard prompt, so that for every project, you're going to build a landing page, a user interface for a sign up, the customer's administration portal, and a super admin. We're going to build those 4 things every time.
Mm-hmm.
And then that there would be security on the back end at SOC 2 compliance level, HIPAA compliance, whatever all those standards are, and then find the tool or tools that will be able to produce those outcomes correctly.
Yeah.
But we're not that far from that. I mean, the fact that I can develop a strategic planning tool and it's functional is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And I spoke with a gentleman the other day that's actually using, instead of like Supabase and other kind of, they could be, depending on how big your app gets, cost prohibitive. I mean, they could start to cost a lot of money.
Yep.
He's using GitHub repositories as data repositories for his MCP. And so he has, when he showed me this entire diagram and this kind of web of logic that his agent uses, and you can see it visually when it's at this point. Now it's going to make a decision. It comes over here to this other part of the logic web, and then it comes over here, and then it goes back there, and it shoots all around. And each one is a GitHub repository of information about any given part of the project. And so he's kind of bypassing the whole database thing by using GitHub with documents of documentation for clients or whatever their needs are. And the agent can make decisions based on what the client already wants. It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, the ability to either just buy commercially available or to set up your own is pretty dramatic. And the documentation to make those things happen is out there to do it, depending on your level of expertise.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, do you have a list of some other projects that you're looking at creating on one of these vibe coding sites?
Well, there's a number of problems I'd love to solve, but they're probably bigger than me. I haven't really put a lot of thought into personal problems that I want to solve at the moment. I've solved the ones that I need to for now. I think that I haven't, to be honest, I haven't dove into the MCPs too much, but I think there's, especially with OpenAI getting into those now. I know Anthropic's been on it for a long time, but
since November.
Yeah, I think that will start to increase in popularity and getting away from the assistant or the agents as we know it. But I think there's some concerns there. And so, people are just kind of throwing up MCP servers all over the place with no care in the world to, corporate IP, any kind of security, and I think that there's some considerations we need to make there. So maybe I could write an app that would help me identify those security issues for people and help them be fixed.
I would love it. I hope you do that. Now I'll help sell it with you.
Great. I'm in.
All right. Well, Thad, I appreciate your time today. And if people want to get in touch with you and have a conversation, how do they do that?
Well, you can come to our website. It's Epoch DM. It's EPOCH DM, like digitalmedia.com. You can email me, hello@epochdm.com. Or you can ping me on LinkedIn. I don't even know what my URL is off the top of my head. I think it's Thad E. Barnes on LinkedIn, but you can search me. You'll see that I'm founder of EDM and a host of the Ready, Fire, Aim podcast and all kinds of stuff. So it's actually just Thad Barnes. I looked it up right now. So connect with me on LinkedIn. I love just chatting with people about life, liberty, and the pursuit of business and happiness. So get a hold of me anytime.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining me, and I look forward to catching up with you soon in person. We'll put this golf app to use.
I love it. Thanks,
All right.
Emanuel. Thanks for having me.
Thad. You betcha. All right. Well, high level review of vibe coding, and we did actually create a little action here with the golf course finder fairways found for you, and with a little bit of tune up and probably upgrading my my Lovable account to the $50 or $100 level, I would be able to produce something that I could email around to my friends and family and let them find places where they go shopping, stay in hotels, and do some golf activities. My purpose for this today was that we would take a look at this, see how straightforward it is, and encourage you to track down one of those services and come up with a challenge or a problem that you have in your life, scheduling or recipes, or how to figure out where to go on your next vacation, and spend some time playing and learning how to talk to the software and create a solution for yourself. I hope that you take some time, dig into AI, get some of your time back from your work week by implementing AI tools, and that you spend that time with your friends and your family, and that you get outside in nature and get off of the screens. This is Emanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.